दोस्तों स्विफ्ट ट्रेंडिंग के आज के एपिसोड में है बहुत ही कुछ खास। आज मेरे साथ है मेरी साथी मेजबान लवी पन्नू जी। मॉर्निंग शोज पर हम धमाल करते हैं हर वीकडे मॉर्निंग 7 to 9 स्विफ्ट सवेर विद लवी एंड मनी। आज लेकिन मैंने लवी जी को दरखास्त की अपने प्रोग्राम में आने की, क्योंकि उन्होंने एक बहुत ही अहम गुफ्तगू की है। पियर पॉलिएव फेडरल कंजर्वेटिव पार्टी के लीडर, ऑफिशियल ऑपोजिशन के लीडर कनाडा के, उनके साथ खास बातचीत जो आप थोड़ी ही देर में हमारे शो पर देख पाएंगे। लवी जी से मैंने दरखास्त की वो आके थोड़ा सा बताया आप लोगों को कि है क्या इस इंटरव्यू में। लवी जी वेलकम आपका, और बताइए कि हुआ क्या कल, क्या बातें की आपने पियर पॉलिएव के साथ।
ਮਨੀ ਜੀ ਸਵਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਣਦੇ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਸਭ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਪੋਲੀਐਫ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛੇ ਗਏ। ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਇਹ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ 4 MPs ਉਹ ਜੰਪ ਕਰਕੇ ਕੁੱਦ ਕੇ ਲਿਬਰਲਸ ਦੇ ਖੇਮੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚਲੇ ਗਏ, ਇਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਕੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਲੀਡਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਵਾਬ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਜੋ ਜਵਾਬ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਉਹ ਗਾਹਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ 'ਚ ਸੁਣਾਂਗੇ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੋ ਰੋਗਨ ਦੇ ਪੋਡਕਾਸਟ 'ਤੇ ਗਏ ਸੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਕੀ ਲਾਜ਼ਮੀ ਸੀ, ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਅਮਰੀਕਨ ਪਲੇਟਫਾਰਮ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਵਿਚਾਰਿਆ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਸੀ। ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨਸ ਸਵਾਲ ਪੁੱਛ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਵਾਲ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਗਰਾਊਂਡਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਜਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਮੁਲਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੁੱਛੇ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਸਨ। ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਪਬਲਿਸਿਟੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਕੀ ਇਹ ਬੜੀ ਲਾਜ਼ਮੀ ਸੀ। ਇਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਦੱਸੇ। ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਆਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਕਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਟੈਂਡ ਔਨ ਗਾਰਡ, ਕਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫੋਰਨ ਇੰਟਰਫੇਰੈਂਸ, ਕਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਟੈਕਸਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਖ਼ਤਮ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਪਰ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨਸ ਨੂੰ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਇੱਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਚੱਕਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਤਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਪਰ ਇਹਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਅਸਰ ਪੋਜ਼ੀਟਿਵ ਉਹ ਪੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਿਹਾ। ਅਤੇ ਬਾਈ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਵਾਲ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਵੀ ਜੇ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੀ ਅਗਲੇ ਪਲਾਨ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ।
यानी आपने उनको पसीना पसीना कर दिया सवाल वाल पूछ के।
ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ, ਪਰ ਇੱਕ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਤਜਰਬਾ ਇਹ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਉਹ ਭਾਰਤੀ ਰਾਜਨੀਤਿਕ ਹੋਣ, ਭਾਵੇਂ ਉਹ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਪੋਲੀਟੀਸ਼ੀਅਨਸ ਹੋਣ, ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਜਵਾਬ ਇੱਕ ਸੀਮਿਤ ਦਾਇਰੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ। ਮਿਸਟਰ ਪੋਲੀਐਫ ਇੱਧਰੋਂ ਉੱਧਰੋਂ ਬਚਦੇ ਬਚਾਉਂਦੇ ਨਿਕਲ ਸਕੇ ਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਨਿਕਲ ਸਕੇ, ਇਹ ਹੁਣ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗੂ।
देख रहा है विनोद, अंग्रेजी बोल बोल के कैसे बात को घुमाया जाता है। पंचायत सीरीज में आप ये मशहूर डायलॉग तो सुने होंगे, अब देखिए इंटरव्यू में किस तरह से जवाब देते हैं।
So, Mr. Poilievre, welcome to Surrey.
Thank you.
We understand that it's your busy schedule, but you spared some time for Radio Swift AM 1200.
Yes, great to be with you.
Absolutely. So, first off, if you could share your experience about the Rogan podcast.
Yes.
It sounded like it was fun. However,
Yes.
there was lots of other talks in the country about that as well. So if you would like to mention anything specific about the
Yes, well,
podcast?
first, I'd just say Joe is a terrific guy. I think that the reason he's the most popular podcaster in the world is because he's the real deal. He goes searching for the truth. He asks honest questions, and then he listens to the answer. He's curious, and we share a lot of interests in fitness, MMA, but also politics, on how to make our countries freer and more affordable, how to make life more safe. So it was a bit of a mix of personal interests and hobbies, but also politics and business. So I really enjoyed Joe, and I hope I get a chance to meet him again.
Of course. But some Canadians are thinking that was it really, really needed to go to United States and talk about Canadian issues or other concerns?
Yeah, I think it was. You mean on that show in particular?
Sure.
Well, I think if you want to advance Canada with Americans, there's no better place to do it than the Joe Rogan podcast, because it's the biggest American show around. And so I was able to make the argument against tariffs, in favor of free trade, and to champion Canada. So it was a great opportunity for all Canadians to get our message to the American people. But it also allowed me to reach Canadians in a way that is unfiltered, to talk about how we're going to have sound money, affordable food, gas, and homes, how we're going to lock up criminals and make life safe again back in Canada. How we can unblock and unlock our economy. So there was lots of substantive things to talk about with Canadians, while I promoted the country south of the border to our biggest customer.
Talking about the Canadian politics, Mr. Poilievre,
Yeah.
recently we've seen some shift, and you have made that clear that lots of backdoor commitments or backdoor policies liberals are adopting. So 4 MPs recently have made a shift towards conservative and to make a shift towards the liberals. So what do you have to say about that?
Well, it's definitely a big betrayal for their constituents. I feel badly for all the hardworking, law-abiding people who voted in goodwill to elect conservative MPs, only to find out that Mark Carney signed dirty backroom deals to take those MPs to his party. And now Canadians will pay the price through higher taxes and grocery bills, a worse housing crisis, more national debt, all policies that these conservative candidates campaigned against, now they're helping to implement. But I would say as well, we need to have hope. We need to fight on. We need to stand up for what we believe in. A record number of Canadians voted Conservative in the last election. They wanted my vision of an affordable and safe country, and I want them to know that I'm going to keep fighting for that, and I will win the next election, and we will realize that promise.
But do you think it might raise question on your leadership?
My leadership does not come from backroom deal makers or power brokers in Ottawa. It comes from the record smashing 8.3 million people who voted for our party under my leadership, and the 87% of Conservative Party delegates who voted for my leadership just 3 months ago in Calgary. We have to ask ourselves, who runs this country? Who's in charge? Is it the people? Is it the welder and waitress? Is it the soldier, the small business owner, and the single mom? Or is it the power brokers and deal makers who want to control everything from Ottawa? I say the people run this country, and I work for them. I won't give up.
So we might see upper hand for Liberals in by-election. If that happens, then what's your plan?
Well, my plan is the same. I'm going to keep fighting for an affordable and safe country. It would obviously be very costly to Canadians to have a Liberal majority. It will mean that Mr. Carney's deficits, his taxes, his inflation will get even worse than we've already seen. And that will be very painful. But that doesn't mean we stop. We keep fighting on because the people that I fight for, they're worth it. And I'm going to keep on doing that.
Mr. Poilievre, lots of concerns regarding South Asian community, and lots of issues we've seen in the past in the city of Surrey. There were, a big number of extortion cases, big number of shootings. And also talking about the Calgary, because this morning we had a chance to speak with the deputy chief from Calgary. So he mentioned, more than 40 cases of extortion and then 18 shootings. So do you think it's a targeted crime? And what do you think government should do and what should be done?
Yes, well, look, we didn't have these kinds of extortions before this Liberal government. People were safe in their communities. But after 10 years of Liberals, soft on crime, open borders, they have allowed Bishnoi gangsters into Canada. They have lowered criminal penalties for extortion with a gun. They have unleashed crime and chaos in our communities. And that's the problem. So that's why Conservatives are pushing Tim Uppal's bill for mandatory jail time of 10 years for extortion. We'll also close the borders to Bishnoi gangsters. Those who are visiting already will be deported. We will interrupt the transnational crime networks and kick them out of our country. And we're going to restore safety and security in Surrey, Brampton, Northeast Calgary, and everywhere else.
In talking about the RCMP statement, they have made amendments in their statement saying about the foreign interference. There was a point then when they were saying they have some documentation that proves that there is foreign interference. There's a proof, and then recently they've said that they didn't have any authentic proof of that. So what's your take on that?
Well, I think this is Mark Carney trying to divide and conquer. He says one thing to the Sikh community and he says another thing to a different community. This is a classic liberal trick. And it's divide and conquer. It's very dishonest. They should just tell the truth. And we should say that foreign interference is unacceptable. We have to set up the foreign agent registry so we know who is working for a foreign government in Canada. We have to interrupt any foreign interference that happens on our soil. We have to close our borders to agents that might come from any country to interfere. Those are all actions Conservatives have been calling for 4 years now. I just remind you that we didn't have these problems before this Liberal government. We didn't have the extortion, the transnational repression. We didn't have assassinations. This is all new. Unfortunately, after 10 years of Liberals, we need a change in government if we're going to restore safety on our streets.
Mm-hmm. And talking about the oil reserves we have here in Canada, so do you think, if your government come in the power, so would you consider that for being Canada self-sufficient based on energy?
Yes, absolutely. I find it interesting. We are the only G7 country that doesn't have an oil reserve, but we have the most oil beneath our feet. We have a maple syrup reserve in Canada, as we don't want to run out of maple syrup, but we don't have an oil reserve. And if we did, right now we would be able to sell that oil onto world markets, making enormous profits for Canada and our governments, for schools and hospitals. And we could bring consumer prices down all at once. Why don't we have the reserves? Because there are terrible Liberal laws that block production. It's very hard to get permits for mines. There's an industrial carbon tax that dissuades investment in our energy sector. By getting rid of all these Liberal taxes and anti-development laws, we can unlock and unblock production. And I've said I will dedicate the Canadian government to incentivize a strategic oil reserve and a strategic mineral reserve so that we have massive leverage that we can use to strengthen our case with other countries in the world.
And talking about the federal, like avoiding the federal taxes on the oil.
Yes.
So do you think it would indirectly put burden on Canadians' pocket, or what's your
It would help
plan on
Canadian
that?
pocketbooks. If you sell more oil in the world, you bring up the Canadian dollar. Because if foreign countries want to buy our oil, they have to buy Canadian dollars to transact it. And that brings up our dollar. And when you have a higher dollar, it buys more oil, more food, more housing, more everything. We want a strong dollar. But I do also have a more direct and immediate solution for high gas prices. Get rid of all the taxes on gas. Zero tax on gas means saving 25 cents at the pumps per liter, $20 each fill up, and $1,200 for a family of 4 between now and the end of the year. No tax on gas.
So, Mr. Poilievre, if you come in the power and Conservative, they have the government, what's your 12 months realistic roadmap?
Well, like I said, I think we get rid of the gas tax right away to give people some relief at the pumps. We would get rid of the GST on all new homes, whether it's a first-time, second-time, third-time buyer. Everybody should have tax-free home buying. I would get rid of capital gains tax for anyone who reinvests in Canada, and the industrial carbon tax to make energy more affordable. But to do that, we have to cut a lot of waste in the government, cut the bureaucracy, consultants, foreign aid, handouts to fake refugees, corporate welfare. We have to cut that off. Because the government is rich right now, and the people are poor. I want the people to be rich, and I want life to be affordable, and that's going to be my top job.
Well, thank you, Mr. Poilievre, for giving some time to Radio Swift AM 1200.
Thank you very
from
much.
your busy schedule. Thank you so much.
तो दोस्तों, उम्मीद है आपको ये इंटरव्यू देख करके बहुत अच्छा लगा होगा. हमें फीडबैक जरूर दीजिएगा और सेंड अस हार्ट, सेंड अस कमेंट्स, सब्सक्राइब, लाइक और शेयर करना ना भूलें. स्विफ्ट AM 1200 पर हमारी बातचीत जारी रहेगी.